Welcome to the project demonstration of machine learning based diabetics prediction using Decision Tree J48 algorithm with Thingspeak. So in this version we have added another sensor which will provide us the more accuracy to estimate the glucose levels along with prediction. For that purpose we have added the acetone detection sensor, and with this sensor we are going to detect the acetone values of the person. Means whenever the person to whom we are going to get the and monitor and predict the decision of about this glucose levels of the person. So to the person we need to place this near his mouth or nose, which are going to get the exhale air from his body. So the exhale air from his body will be consist of a little bit of acetone, and that will be monitored by the sensor, and glucose levels from this sensor and temperature from the sensor. Total 3 parameters are main input in our project, that is sufficient to monitor the and predict the glucose levels, and the status of the glucose level monitoring will be done by our Raspberry Pi 3B plus. And for that these 3 are the main input to get that output properly, and that will be displayed on the LCD screen. So here we are using the temperature sensor along with another sensor which we have the 2 modules. So in that one is the IR sensor to detect the finger presence along with red LED and photodiode. So when we place the finger inside that, the IR sensor will provide us the accuracy of finger detection, and once the finger detected with accuracy, then the system will trigger the red LED to get the received the signal. So how much of light was emitted from the red blood cells, means our blood will emit those red LED lights, and that will be received by the phototransistor, and that will be converted into the glucose levels based on the density. Means whenever we are getting the systolic and diastolic scenario, our finger will be filled with the blood, and when the heart pull back the blood, it will has a less density. So there the system initially will find the systolic and diastolic. After it will differentiate between the systolic and diastolic, then it will estimate the blood density. Then after we are going to calculate the estimate of glucose levels, and that will be identified. Then after the temperature directly from the skin surface, and the next from the exhale of our body, that will be acetone values will be identified. So here generally the acetone values are 0.2 to 0.9 parts per million is a ppm. That will be 200 to 900 ppb, that is a parts per billion for the normal person, so which has a low normal glucose levels. And when the this acetone values are more than 900 ppb to 1800 ppb, very much 900 parts per billion to 1800 parts per billion, that is the abnormal. So those are the sugar levels high. That person particularly consists of more acetone levels when he exhale the air from his body to the sensor. So these 3 are input to this Arduino Uno. So here we are using Arduino Uno just to convert the analog data to the serial data. So after the calculation was successfully done at this part, the system will convert this analog data to the serial, as the Raspberry Pi doesn't consist of analog reader. So for that purpose the serial data was read by this Raspberry Pi 3B plus in certain manner of, so we are getting the string data. So that will be splitted into the 3 parts. One is the glucose level, and there is temperature, and there is acetone values. So these 3 are after separation was given as input to the Decision Tree J48 algorithm. Then it will process that, and then after successfully analyzing based on the data coming out from the J48, it will estimate the accurate decision about the glucose levels. There are nothing but, as we discussed, it's going to be the excellent or good condition, normal or borderly, nothing but pre-diabetic or post-diabetic or danger levels of glucose levels. So that will be estimated and displayed on the LCD screen. So this is the one version nothing but sensor based. So here is the selection switch, so which will take the input from the sensors, and the next when we keep the switch to the data set mode. Then it will take input from this keypad. So in this we have loaded the 6 data sets that will be represented with 1 2 3 4 5 6. When we select the so-called data sets, whatever the data is getting from the sensors in so-called dataset manner, so nothing but glucose levels, temperature and acetone values, same dataset predefinedly stored inside the Raspberry Pi 3 B plus. When we select that, the so-called dataset directly loaded into this and then process, analyze, and it will provide us the directed decision on the LCD after the prediction successfully done. So here the sensor data we have already discussed is providing the serial data to this Raspberry Pi. So that particular data will be captured by the Raspberry Pi 3. Around it has to take generally minimum of 20 samples, minimum of. But for making the process in speedier manner for demonstration purpose, we have decreased the samples. Around 5 samples will be taken. So that is the minimum samples for the Raspberry Pi. It will take 5 samples. Once it will provide the 5 samples to the algorithm, then if we get sufficient data output, then it will be displayed on the LCD screen. Otherwise it will take around 8 samples, the next step onwards, to get the accurate. Otherwise it will keep on increasing the samples, first 5, then 8, then again 11 or 12, then 15. So it's keep on increasing the samples till that it won't provide us the output after prediction successfully done. So that will be displayed on this 16:2 LCD screen. And keypad is already, dataset was loaded. It already consists of around 55 samples for dataset 1 and 50 samples 2. So like that, samples already collected and placed in the dataset mode. When we select this, it will be loaded and decision will be predicted on the LCD. And parallelly, we are going to store the same data on the Thingspeak. So this is the glucose levels. There's a milligrams per deciliters, and this temperature, degree Fahrenheit, and acetone. So as we discussed in PPB. So these are the previously collected sample values while we are testing the project. So if you want to get the live data and if you want to erase the old data, so before erasing that, you should take the backup. For that, data import exports, download the data. So successfully downloaded, the data will be stored and we can access that by Excel sheet directly. That particular data consists of date and time along with samples. This is date and time, and samples till now we have collected 27 samples we have collected. So the first one is the glucose levels, as we discussed, temperature levels, as well as our acetone values. Okay, so the other values we have received while testing of the project. So now go to channel settings. After data import export done, channel settings. Now we can clear the channel. So only here do the clear the channel. Right, successfully clearing the channel. Right, now go to private view. Okay, so there we can see the old data got erased. Now let us provide the input to the system. So after we enable this, clear the channel and everything, now go to hotspot settings. After hotspot settings, and now change the hotspot name to project 7225. Password should be 123456789. AP band should be 2.4 gigahertz. After this, on the hotspots along with the data, now you can on the power supply to the sketch. So it will take around 20 to 30 seconds of duration to boot in successfully. Once the booting successfully done, then you can insert the finger into this sensor. Right, we can see the welcome message and it is dataset mode. So let us place. So I'm selecting the dataset 1. So meanwhile it's loading, and meanwhile you can see the one device connected, and stay on this channel screen. Right. Okay, so like this we can select so total number of data sets. And after this, just place this to sensor mode. So like this, so-called decision was displayed on the LCD. Now when we place this in sensor mode, it is hang over there until we place the input to the sensor. Let's stay on this. So let us place this near my Excel. Right, so it's near my nose Excel. The data has to be estimated, right? So data has to be estimated. Right. So you can see the acetone values. Right, it's excellent. As I excel the data on the sensor filter, then it is estimating the acetone values. So here you can see this is the degree Fahrenheit, temperature, and ppb, that's the acetone values, and now it is milligram per deciliter is my glucose levels. So now you can see the data is continuously sending to the Thingspeak. The new data got arrived. Right. So in this manner, the system will try to predict the disease regarding diabetics by getting input from the three sensors: acetone, temperature, and glucose levels. Right. So glucose levels field 1, field 2, so when we scrolling that, if you touch on the blue bar, then automatically this will be misplaced only, right? So field 2 is the temperature and field 3 is the acetone in ppb, right? Thank you.